After Arlecchino forget all pyro characters. After her, Hu Tao goes to the basement. High damage with no skill required to play with very beautiful visual effects. Please be sure to watch the video until the end because I have to say something very important about her. And don't forget to like the video. Attack, big hitbox and AoE. State, crit damage. Artifact, no one but herself can use 100% of her artifact set. Her skill, like Hu Tao, Arlecchino skill activates the damage mode and burst is an additional damage. The most important point about Arlecchino is the bond of life. As long as your skill is active, you will not take any damage with Arlecchino. Burst, 60 energy cost, it wakes up burning blood wings, which gives Arlecchino 15% max HP bond of life and deals AoE damage. Skill effect. It stays on the enemy for 30 seconds, it takes enemy damage up to 3 times every 3 seconds. When Arlecchino charge attacks, it clears the effect from the enemy. But instead it gets 20% bond of life, up to 20 seconds after activation. This effect can be obtained from skill up to 80% bond of life. First passive talent. When an enemy with this effect dies, it can give you up to 70% bond of life. Of course, it depends on what stage your skill effect is in. On the 3 stages of the bond of life skill effect that it takes from 25, 50 to 70 changes. The second passive talent. For every 100 attacks above 1000, Arlecchino receives 1% resistance to physical and elemental damage up to a maximum of 20%. Having 3000 attacks fills this passive. Cons. Cons 1. When you are in the active mode of Bond of Life and your normal hits get special effects whose damage is boosted by a factor based on your Bond of Life. There is a 33% chance that your damage will not consume your Bond of Life and even add 5% to your total life bond. Cons 2. The effect you cast on the enemy will be strengthened by 1 more stage, and if you activate the last stage of this effect with charge attack. Arlecchino will inflict a damage with a scaling of 900% attack to the enemy every 10 seconds. Cons 4. The bond of life that burst gives increases by 25%, and the stages of the scale effect are increased by 1 more. When you activate the scale effect with charge attack, the cooldown of burst is reduced by 2 seconds and 15 energy is returned to Arlecchino. Cons 6. All the damage of your skill will get 500% of the bond of life damage flat bonus, and 20 seconds after the activation of the skill, you will get 10% of crit rate and 70% of crit damage. Weapon. She desperately needs her own weapon and other weapons have a very different damage to her own weapon. Gives 22% crit rate. No one but herself can use 100% of her weapon's passive. Arlecchino's weapon turns into a scythe when you give it to her. Best teammates: Zhongli, Albedo, Chiori, Bennett, Yelan, Kuki, Toma, Xianglin, Dihaya, Furina, Xianyun, Kazuha. But for real high damage Arlecchino, Xianyun, Furina, Bennett. Bonus.